Hello, you're joining me here this week on a topic around fixing your work week. So something new that I'm bringing to this space is being able to deliver you something that you can fix, a fix within your business, mostly around the strategy side, the organisation and the operations, because that is my jam and that's what I do. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Dani-Louise Smith and I am the queen of business organisation. I help you work on your strategy, your business organisation and your business operations so that you can free up more time to either work on your business more and grow it more and make more money, or to spend more time with your family. It's about creating freedom and fortune and avoiding burnout and breakdown that I know so many business owners face. So you're joining me here this week and we are talking Let's Fix Your Work Week, a live audit for overwhelmed business owners. This is a huge topic that I'm passionate about, and in this short training I'm going to talk to you about some of the key things that I come across with overwhelmed business owners. In fact, I hear that word all the time, overwhelmed, right? Do you feel like that? If the answer is yes, then I'm about to do an audit that will support and fix your work week. This is really important to make sure that your business is running in alignment, feels good for you, so that you can deliver better results for yourself and for your clients. So first of all, I want to talk about where I have seen these problems firsthand. I previously worked with a therapeutic art therapist, and together we set out her service suite, implemented daily operation, and her business soared. And it was so amazing to see, but the problem was that most business, they don't avoid learning what to do and they implement the strategies. It's not that actually nobody supports you with how to actually manage doing them efficiently and simplifying things. So basically, as your business grows, it's hard to actually manage and serve more clients. You have less time, and it means there's less ability to remain consistent with marketing or working on your business, and that then has an impact. It means that your business is affected, and then it begins a cycle of burnouts, breakdowns, teetering on the edge of giving up because it can feel too heavy and too hard. Your work week doesn't have to feel like that. Back to my therapy client. She started and grew an amazing business, earning 2 to 3k per month consistently, which is amazing. But she started to be in this situation that I talked about, and so I want to talk to you about where time gets wasted. There are common red flags that I see in many business owners' calendars, and there are 3 quick wins to make space without hiring, because I know that the obvious solution is to hire someone to do the jobs for you, to give you the time back. But let's be real, that is not always viable, especially in the beginning of your business. Or even if you're somewhere in the messy middle where you're not yet making that 2k a month, or maybe you are, but you're not in a position to be able to outsource a bunch of work, and you're not at the 6-figure mark. So you're actually in the messy middle and you just need to figure this stuff out. And this is where working on the operations make a difference. So there's no hiding the fact that when you run a business single-handedly, there is a lot to do. All of a sudden, you're not just a therapist, you're not just a coach, you become a writer, you become a content creator, you become a social media manager, a sales lead, a marketer, a photographer, you get the idea, and so much more. So whilst in an ideal world you would outsource some of this work, the truth is that even outsourcing isn't going to solve all your problems if you don't have any standard operating procedures in place that allow you to simply hand over the work. And I learned that myself the hard way by giving it a go and getting very little return on the implementation and on the investment, because the person I was outsourcing the work to wasn't as quick as me, didn't understand how I operated my business, and they just weren't in my head, and they weren't having the same vision as me. Whereas the time that the team that I have now and the time that we spend doing things, we have all of that in alignment. And I know that the question you have is, how can you get to a point where you have the ability to outsource? Well, it starts with how you operate. So time often gets wasted with tasks like overcommitting to client delivery, admin, and chasing your tail with content creation. And this is because the business you run, isn't being as efficient as it could be in how you truly need to balance your time. So whilst you chase the next content idea and desperately seek the motivation you need to create that, you're avoiding spending time on conversations that lead to sales or tasks that grow your audience and so on. So if your numbers are not up month on month, then it's a clear sign that the balance of time mastery on the business fundamentals is off. So that's a signal, it's a red flag for you. So this leads me to the most common red flags that I see in a business owner's calendar. I often find that client work is sporadic because you focus more on leading in the income than how it feels to delivering better energy and creating time, space and freedom for flexibility. And if your calendar has no flex, you're on a one-way path to burnout. So if this relates for you, don't worry, because I'm about to share some quick wins that can get you off that path. The next red flag that I see is that business owners are not prioritising where time actually goes. It needs to be spent to grow a business. The key areas to put your energy into outside of client delivery is top of funnel, which is getting people to discover you. It is middle of funnel, which is where you nurture the people in your world. And then the bottom of the funnel, where you land the sale. If there isn't time dedicated in your calendar to this every single week or even every day, then this is where the shift needs to happen. To get intentional and get focused to create the biggest impact for your business growth and for the clients that you help. The final red flag I see is a lack of boundaries and delegation issues, and it doesn't always mean within the business. Sometimes this is outside of the business, which directly impacts inside the business. In fact, just last week, I put a boundary in place outside of my business because it impacted what I had achieved inside the business. And I just want to share this with you to really highlight the impact of these boundaries. So my husband last week was asked to do something for a family member. Absolutely not a problem. However, I agreed to it on Monday, which is a productive work day for me, and it being summer, our 3 children are at home and the dog gets away a little bit too. And let's just say, whilst he was out of the house, and my clients know about this because I'm always honest and real and tell them what's going on, but whilst he was out of the house for 7 hours, my to-do list didn't get ticked off. And so that I realised that it's actually unacceptable to allow my support system, which is the husband, I always say he's my best kept secret because he's there on hand for anything I need when I'm working. But my support system was taken away, so I can't let that go when I'm needing to work. And it was taken away completely. So we actually had a conversation and we agreed in future that anything like that is done on my days off. So he can go help people on my days off, especially if I'm not able to rearrange my work week like I couldn't last week. I couldn't. So the boundaries are so important within your business, and pleasing everyone but yourself and your own business growth is going to take you on a path completely towards the goals that you don't actually want. So you need to make sure it's veering to the goals that you do want. So that 5k month that you're dreaming about, it's just been pushed further away by the elastic boundaries that you're working on, and it does take practice. These days, I recognise these red flags quicker and I jump into action, and I want to give you that gift. I want you to help you to see this as well and where these things can be leaking in your business. So what do you do about all of this? It turns out that this has become somewhat a negative talk. But this stuff needs to be spoken. It needs to be brought into your awareness so that you can escape having a negative experience when running your business. So here are 3 quick wins that you can implement from today that will have you being able to audit your work week and escape potential overwhelm. So the first of the big 3 is looking at the top of the funnel, middle of the funnel and the bottom of the funnel. So I'm not a huge fan of time blocking, I openly admit that, but if it works for you, do it. Go for it. How I approach this is I have a set time for these tasks during every workday, and I focus on mainly top, middle and bottom funnel tasks in that time as much as I can, and I don't go outside of that boundary. So what I actually do is I dedicate an hour a day on a work day, and I believe that's essential to spend 1/3 of your working hours on this if you possibly can. So just as a recap, that's working on your top of funnel, middle of funnel and bottom of funnel. So it's your audience growth tasks, nurturing your audience and getting those sales, right? So I focus on those 3 areas for at least an hour a day on my working days. So this is one quick fix that you can implement that will help you see results faster and make sure that you're actually working in the areas that are going to create growth. Bring more clients, bring more income, get more visibility and all that good juicy stuff that we want. So I'm just going to remind you exactly what those are. Top of funnel, activities that bring in new people, example social media visibility or networking. Middle of funnel, which is nurturing your existing audience, so example, engaging with comments, sending an email and sharing value. And then finally, bottom of funnel, which is converting warm leads into paying clients. So this might be sales calls, direct follow-ups and things like that. So the task at hand here to fix your work week is to put these in your calendar first before your client work. If they're not scheduled, they won't happen. So that's the first thing to fix your work week. Next up is the one thing that has been the most effective for me, and over time I've massively played around with the structure and it has freed up so much mental space as well as physical time in my days. And this is creating theme days or task batching. So what this looks like is grouping similar tasks together to cut down into one, right? So it cuts down your time into one. So for context, how I run my work week is, it's admin Mondays. So this is working on content, working on everything to do with content and marketing. So emails, content, recording podcast episodes. In fact, the only other time I do content is when I'm delivering this to you on Thursday mornings. Secondary to that, there is client days. So I have a full client focus, client themed day where all calls or delivery work is set in time windows. So I actually looked up some of the best traits of successful business owners, and Google told me, and ChatGPT also told me, that Jack Dorsey, the co-founder of Twitter and Square, is probably the most famous example of using themed days. So when he was running both companies at the same time, he divided his week into focused themes. So his looked like this: Monday was management, Tuesday was product, Wednesday was marketing and growth, Thursday was about developers and partnerships, and Friday was company culture. And this is very, very similar to how my work week looks. Different themes, but very similar to how my work week looks. And he credited his approach with helping him avoid decision fatigue and keep both companies moving forward without consistently switching gears. And it was music to my ears to know that I have already been operating on something that has led to success for such a high profile character. Plus, I now have 2 businesses as well, so this strategic time management has become even more essential for me in 2025. And I truly believe in this day and age where we are always looking for the next quick fix, how we can work smarter and not harder, how to be more efficient and be more productive, this is where we can implement these kind of things. So definitely give it a go. And then the final quick win for you to go away with today is to set one boundary outside of your business this week. So I want you to pick one non-business commitment that regularly eats into your work time and put a clear boundary around it. For example, it might be certain errands, it might be childcare swaps, or it might be a personal favour. I want you to think about it, because even one boundary can reclaim so many hours for focused business work, and that can directly impact your revenue. So as you know now, I practice what I preach, and this week last week mine has been the conversation with my husband, which he was in agreement of, around other commitments outside of work and how we navigate them. Remember, if there's no flex, it's a red flag. So if you saw yourself in this, I have a little invite for you. I would love you to DM me the word on any social media platform, email, wherever you like. DM me the word audit and send me a screenshot of your calendar, and I will audit for you and let you know of any gaps that I can see. This is exactly what we tackle inside my time-rich mastermind, making your weeks lighter and more profitable. You've just seen how some few small changes can free up time and headspace for your week. Inside my mastermind, we take that further. We turn your calendar into a growth machine so you can scale from 2k to 5k plus months without the overwhelm. So if you're ready for that too, pop me a message, let's get on a clarity call and see if the Time Rich Mastermind is the right fit for you. But don't forget to claim your free audit by DMing me the word audit right now, and I will look at fixing your work week alongside you and give you the support and fill those gaps that you might be missing. So definitely take advantage of that, and I'll see you same time, same place next week, while I'll be here delivering another quick training for you. And next week I'm actually going to be talking about what I'm working on in my business right now, so you can see what those of us in the industry are moving through and looking at, so you can gain an inside look and a behind the scenes look on what's working in marketing and what people are working on and where to focus your energy right now as well. So yeah, I hope to see you there.